Universal Schools, New Delhi. With English honors as her base and theatre as her passion, she is a woman of excellence in the field of education and an epitome of knowledge and experience. May I invite Ms. Manika Sharma on the stage and share her valuable thoughts with us.
Here at the Conclave, and thank you to the ma'ams here, Sindhura and Archarya ma'am, for having me over. Namaste to everyone. I know it's a very happy mix, as ma'am said, of educators, parents, people who are not in the teaching profession, honorable dignitaries who I'm very honored to see, and I hope to catch a couple of words with you, sirs, over coffee, because I won't get this opportunity again. So thank you very much. It's very humbling to be here. I come from the Sri Ram School, Delhi, Gurgaon, and it's a school with a difference. As the name suggests, this is a school with a difference too, TSUS. We were born 30 years back, 31 to be precise. It was the vision of our chairperson, who's no more with us, Mrs. Manju Bharatram. And it's been a beautiful journey, and that's why I'm here, just to share that where does Sri come from? When you speak of the Sri Ram schools, what do you think of? What's the first thing that you think of? So I'm here to share that little bit of that journey, where we are, why we are here, how did we make a name in the first 3 years, very much like this school, of our being. I think within 3 years of being born, the Sri Ram School was making waves in Delhi, and then we moved to Gurgaon, Gurugram as it's now called. All these names keep changing, right? We have to keep pace with changing names in our country. So I'm here to share that beautiful journey. So here we go. So it is an honor, like I said, to be here. The Educators Conclave by the Sri Ram Universal School is truly path-breaking. I absolutely love listening to Jyoti ma'am, and I think some of the things that she said resonated with all of us as educators, what we feel about the happiness quotient, about teachers being respected, about why is there such a gender bias and people take up this profession? Why don't we have more men in this profession? And just the mutual respect and the ever learning, that need to be learning, the high need for achievement factor that educators have. And I'm glad the space is changing. So thank you, Jyoti ma'am, for that very insightful welcome address this morning. So this conclave, when I read about it, when I heard about it, when the seed was born here, I felt it was truly path-breaking. It was revolutionary from the very start go, and a much needed initiative to discuss education in the ever-changing environment today. Open and honest and dynamic forums are the need of the hour, and I look forward to a wonderful day ahead. So for me, education is not just a profession. It never has been. It's my passion, my priority, and my purpose. When I was a teacher in the classroom, I felt the same. When I took over as principal, I felt the same. When I took over as director of a cluster of schools, I still felt I was always a teacher. So for me, I want to spring in the step of not only every child who walks into the school, but every parent. Everyone who walks into the school has to feel happy. And I saw that slide on teachers being clock watchers. We can't be. We are there for the children and the parents 24/7, like doctors. Right? We have the healing touch. So, in the 30 years or 31 years that one has been there, what was different? And what made this journey so special? 1988, when the first Sri Ram was born. Right from the very start, it believed in children. It believed in the child's innate abilities and passion. Believed that every child must have the space for self to grow and be accepted wholeheartedly as an individual. After 30 years, we can proudly say, as batch after batch graduates and makes its mark in the world, that we are upholding the founding vision and will continue to do so. A school that continues to acknowledge and support the different abilities, capabilities, and needs of children. It is a school that does not label for good or bad its children. I remember a very interesting incident, and some of my colleagues who traveled with me, Radha ma'am would also remember that in the early days, teachers would come and knock on my door and say, if a child is unwell, if he's running 100 or 99 fever, even if it's 99 temperature, and the teachers would come to my door and say, Manika ma'am, what should we do? Should we call the parents? Should we send the child home? Should we ask the child to be in the infirmary or with the nurse ma'am? Should we keep the child there? And I used to always tell every teacher, what's good for the child? And they got their answer themselves. They didn't have to ask anyone. I said, what's good for the child? To be in the nurse room or to go home? You tell me. I'd say, go home. So I said, you don't need to ask anyone. Ask your heart. What would you do? So those little lessons in the early days made the Sri Ram school, the Sri Ram fraternity, so child-centric that every decision that we took in big boardrooms, which were minuted and circulated, had the child at the center. No decision would get passed if it was not good for the child, because school is about children. School is about teachers. School is about love, caring, nurturing, compassion, and obviously learning. See, in today's times, knowledge boring is so easy. At the click of a button, they get all the information. So we need to give something more than that as educators. We need to go beyond that. The Googles will give them all the information they need. We need to give them the love, the care, the ear, the heart, all of that. Our success today seems meaningful only because we have upheld the core values that have been the bedrock of the vision for welfare of the children. We are very mindful of our responsibility towards children with different abilities. It's absolutely inclusive, notwithstanding not caring about the adverse impact it may have on school aggregate. So it's interesting, every year when the graduating batch passes and we're sharing the school results, there are about 13 to 14 children who have different needs, whose parents don't want to put them in the spectrum. They don't want them to take the National Indian Open School, but yet they want for us to work hard enough for us to be able to help that child, clear school, leaving examination. So very obviously, they just about clear the examination, which is a huge thing for us as educators. But when you do the entire calculation of the aggregate of the school, it will come down. If there are 14 children who scored something between a 60 and a 65%, in today's times that doesn't matter. But for us it's the biggest high and we celebrate that. And often I've been asked that, when we are asked for our school aggregate, if it's not 94, then we are not the Sri Ram school. I said, then we are the Sri Ram school, because we have celebrated every child, come what may. So, that is really critical for us to get an understanding that are we here in this competitive world or are we here to actually educate and walk with every child who comes our way. I wanted to share that because that was really important for us, and year on year I get this question to say, should we share the result with the mainstream children, or should we include all the children who come with different abilities? And I say include all. I don't care. So our focus is on providing a nurturing environment that helps develop their potential, thus ensuring that they blossom to stand tall in society. And now for the educators in the audience, I'm going to talk to you, the teachers who are behind the stage, and those of you who are here. While we all as educators want to stay rooted firmly in our culture, we should and we must equip our children with skills to become adept global citizens. Citizens who are guided by a moral compass and a hunger for excellence in the pursuit of their choices that they make in life. We should stand resolute in our commitment to holistic and value-based education of children. So the bedrock of the Sri Ram schools has been values. Values, environment, inclusion, all of that. Teaching is the most noble profession. We are sculptors molding the future of our country, slowly but surely, building humble, honest, morally strong and happy citizens of India. As Colonel Gibran said, you are the bows from which your children, as living arrows, are sent forth. As a teacher, you're the most important part of a young student's life. Your love of learning can be infectious and inspiring to any student you teach. So the hunger to learn must remain alive in all of us. I'm constantly learning. I love to learn, I love to read. I love to explore, and I love to reach out and talk to as many people. Because conversations help you to learn even more. So keep doing that, all the educators here. Remember how you nurture the courage in a pupil's heart. You're a tutor, enabler, a caregiver combined, and you can and will make a difference. I look forward to spending the rest of the morning listening to all the very eminent guests here. Thank you very much once again for having me over. And for me, every child matters. So thank you very much. All the best for the conference.
Sindhura and the Kuri to felicitate our luminary guest of honor, Ms. Manika Sharma.
Thank you.
Stand there. No, stand here.
Okay.
Front of
Absolute privilege. Thank you very much. Very comfortable. Thank you. Thank you so much.